Hey everybody! I just wanted to say hello to you all, and today we're going to be working on Conyers Law Offices, which is our end of module project 1 in module 4. Okay, so the instructions are located here in our Canvas account, and you'll just click on it, and then you click on the load the assignment. Now this is a little different because normally our assignments are located in our textbook, but on projects they're not located in the textbook. They're actually a printout that you'll need to do. So I'm going to show you this, and I've already printed a copy out, so I'm going to use the printout copy to read from, but you may have to flip back and forth between the assignment and the printout and the actual work that you're going to work on. Okay, so it's right here. Your instructions, SCEX 19, end of module 4, project 1 is this assignment. So if you click on it, it's going to open it up, and it's just a document. So you can download the document. Then once it's downloaded, you can click on it to open it. Now, if you have a printer, you could print it. It's not necessary. You can do this without printing it. You can just Alt-Tab between Word and Excel and do the steps. There are 13 steps to do, and then after the 13 steps, then there are several pages at the end that show you what the assignment is supposed to look like. So here are the instructions. You're going to open the module file. We're going to do that in a minute. Then we're going to save the file as our name, and then from there we're going to use the open file, and we're going to go through and follow the instructions, steps 1 through 13. And then when we're finished, it should look like this picture here. And then on the other worksheet, it will look like this. So there's a lot of information in here, so it's going to take us a while to work through it. So plan on about 45 minutes worth of time to do this assignment. Again, you can pause me, go do something, rewind if you miss something. But all of these different areas here, I'm going to go over the formulas with you, okay? And I might even go ahead and put in the editor in the comments what page number we're on. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up so I can put in comments. Okay, and then view. I want to do one page at a time. Okay, so this way I can go ahead and put that information in for you all. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So now we are going back to our assignment. We have downloaded our instructions, so now we're going to start working on it. Now, on all projects, it'll be this way. There's no textbook assignment in the book, so you're going to have to download the instructions that we just did and work from there. Then you're going to need to use the start file. You cannot use a new document. You must use the start file. So I'm going to click on it. It should have downloaded it. And then once it's downloaded, I can click on it to open it. Now, if you'll notice, there are several sheets. The very first thing it tells you to do is note, do not edit this sheet. If your name does not appear in cell B8 or B6, please download a new copy, okay? So my name is there, so this is a good copy. I have this worksheet, and this worksheet. So we have 4 different worksheet tabs in this workbook. So I'm going to go back here to the documentation. Then I'm going to Alt-Tab, because that's what allows us to switch between different documents. I'm going to find our instructions, which is here. And I'm going to go up here, and we've already opened the file. We've downloaded it. Now it says to save the file and change the 1 to a 2. So I'm going to go back to my Excel file as soon as I find it. I do not see it. So let me click down here at the bottom. and I'm going to save it. So I'm going to go File, and then Save As, and I'm going to put it in my OneDrive account, and SCEX19, into module 4-1, my name, and then it says to change the ending from 1 to a 2. So I'm going to change it to a 2. Click on Save. That allows me any changes I make will automatically save. Now I'm back to the sheet. Now I'm going to go Alt-Tab again, and I'm going to click on the instructions. So we've done that, and then it says with EX name 2, still open, ensure that your first and last name is displayed in B6. We did that a while ago. So now we're starting with step 1. Now step 1 is pretty easy, so I'm just going to do the assignment, and when we get to parts where we need formulas and stuff like that, I'll walk you through those. Okay, so Nadia Khalif is the office manager for Conyers Law Offices in Dallas, Texas. The firm is planning to move its computer network into the cloud so that everyone working on a case can access the information at any time and from anywhere. Nadia is in charge of securing a loan to pay for the network transition and asks for your help in creating a loan analysis. So we're going to be working for this office manager. So it says to go to the loan calculator worksheet, resize row 1 to a height of 8.25, and reduce the blank space at the top of the worksheet. So resize row 1 to a height of 8.25. So Alt-Tab, go to this one, and then loan payment work calculator, and she wants to change this row 1 to 8.25. So hold her mouse in between row 1 and row 2 and go to 8.25. Those of you all that are using a touch tablet or a touch a thing on your laptop and you don't have a mouse, remember you can always go here to Format and go to row height and change it here to 8.25. Okay, Alt-Tab again, instructions. Cell D4 has a defined name, which is unnecessary for a cell that will not be used in a formula. Delete the name, not delete the D4, but delete the name from D4. So we're going to Alt-Tab again. D4 is right here, and it's called date, but we don't need the name date in there. We need the date in there, but not the name. So we're going to go up here to our formulas. We're going to go over here to our name manager, which is under the formulas tab. And right here, we're going to find the date name, and we're going to delete the name. And it's going to ask us, are we sure we want to delete the name date? And we're going to say yes. Okay. Now, if you look in the name box, now it's just called cell D4. That's exactly what we want. I'll tab back to the instructions. Nadia wants to assign names to other cells to help her interpret the loan calculations. In the range D5 to D7, define names based on the values in the range C5 to C7. So we're going to have the names in the column, and then we want the names to be based on those values in that column. Okay. And we're also going to define names at F5 to F7 based on those ranges at E5 to E7. So let's do the first one first. D5 to D7 based on the names in C5 to C7. So we have C5 to C7, and we want these to be called loan amount, this one to be called rate, and this one to be called term. So in our formulas tab again, we're going to go to create from selection because we have the names selected already. And we're going to go with the left column because the names are in the left column. The right ones that we have selected are where we want them to be named. So again, this is going to be named loan amount, 7.825. Cell is going to be named rate. And where the 10 is at in D7 is going to be named term. So we click on it. And if you'll notice, this one's called loan amount, this one's called rate, and this one is called term. Now the instructions also say for us to do this, define the names from E5 to E7 based on the values, F5 to F7 based on the values in E5 to E7. So we're going to do the same thing, but this time I want us to look. So this one's supposed to be called monthly payment. Right now it's just called F5. This one's supposed to be called total interest, and this one's supposed to be called total cost. And right now it's just F5 to F7. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to select the range. We're going to select the column with the names in it, and then the cells that we want to actually have the names put in it. create from selection. Again, the names, the values of the names are in the left column, and then the right column is where we want them to be named. So we'll click OK. Now if I click on F5, now it says monthly payment. F6 says total interest, and F7 says total cost. Okay, so we have completed task number 3. So now we're on to task number 4. Nadia needs to calculate the monthly payment for the loan to fund the law firm's transition to the cloud. In cell F5, enter a formula using the payment function. Insert a negative sign after the equal sign in the formula to display the result as a positive amount. Use defined names, the ones we just created, for the rate, the net per, and the present value arguments as follows. The rate argument is divide the rate by 12 using the monthly interest rate. The net per argument, multiply the term by 12 to specify the number of months as the periods, and then the last part of the argument is the present value, and we're going to use the loan amount for that. Okay, so the net that we're going to purchase or fund in our loan, we're going to take that and divide it. Okay, so we're going to look at all this, and I'm going to break it down with you real slowly. But on this particular one, I'm going to put my screen side by side with the assignment so that we can see the instructions a little bit more. I think that will help you all. So I'm going to put it down here, and we're going to go into cell F5 where we're going to put our formula. So our monthly payment right here. Let me resize this screen so that we can see them both. And you might want to do this for the whole assignment instead of using Alt-Tab. So cell F5 is going to be the payment. So we're going to put the equal sign minus the payment. When we put payment in, I'm going to double click it, and it's going to give me the information I need. So we're going to put in parentheses the rate and the net present value, or the amount that we're going to fund, the present value, and then the future, and then close parentheses. So we have all of those right here: the rate argument, the net present, and the present value. Okay. So we've got then the minus payment. We're going to divide the rate by 12. So we're going to type in rate, and we're going to use the rate name, and then the divide by sign, and then 12. So that's what we just did here. Divide the rate by 12. Then we're going to put a comma in, and we're going to do the net per, multiply the rate, multiply the term by 12. I'll go back up here. So we'll put our comma in between the different arguments. And now if you notice in bold, it has the net PER. So we're going to put that one in. And that is the term by 12. Multiply the term by 12. So we'll put term. So we'll know how many number of payments. Okay. So there's 10 years times the 12 months in a year. We'll hit the comma again to go into our next value, which is our present value. And our present value is the amount of money that we're going to borrow. So that would be the loan amount. So we're going to type in loan amount here. Double click it. Now the last thing we need to do is put a close parentheses to close our argument, and then hit enter. And then that gives us our formula. Now I'm going to put it back up again just in case you need it for a second. Remember, it's equals minus the payment, and then we're going to use the parentheses, and then we're going to have our rate argument, which is our rate divided by 12, our interest rate divided by 12 to get the monthly interest rate. Then we're going to take our term, multiply it times 12, that's the number of payments in our period, and then our loan amount. And we're going to just put the loan amount. We don't do any multiplication. So terms times 12 and our loan amount. Okay? And that takes care of this step here. Move it over a little bit and see what step number we're on. We're number 6 now. So number 6 is going to tell us in cell F7. So we're going to click on F7. Make sure I'm on 7, so I can't see my whole screen. I want to make sure that we're doing this correctly so there will be no mistakes for anybody. Okay, so cell F7 right here, the total cost. So Nadia wants to calculate, oh, actually it's in F6. I skipped step 5. So let's go back to step 5. Nadia wants to calculate the total interest, which is the total amount, which is the total amount of the payments minus the loan amount. So we're going to take the total payments, subtract the loan amount. So in cell F6, we're going to enter a formula without using a function that multiplies without using a function. So we're just going to create our own formula. So it'll be equal and then 12 times the term and the monthly payment and then subtract the loan amount. Okay, so I'm going to show you all that real quick. And it's real simple. So you're just going to follow this instructions right here. Everything resized so everybody can see everything. So the total interest equals the 12 times the term and we're going to multiply that times the monthly payment term, 12 times the term and 12 times and times the monthly payment. Then we're going to subtract the loan amount. So subtract and then the loan amount. Now, there's no function, so there's no need for parentheses. It's just going to use parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So it's going to do the 12 times, and then that times, and then subtract out the loan amount. Just basic math. And that gives us our total interest of $145,468.71. And then our total cost, we're going to do that, and then we're going to check our math. Okay, so our total cost is in F7. It says enter a formula without using a function, so we're going to just use our simple mathematical formulas that adds the loan amount to the total interest to determine the total cost. So we're going to put the equal sign, and then loan amount plus total interest. Loan amount, double click, plus total interest. Okay. So now we have these mathematical pieces. So we've got steps 1 through 6 done. So I'm going to highlight right here so I know where I left off at. And I'm going to scroll to the 3rd page. And we have our information here so we can check. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that we can see. Wrong direction. And that way we can check our math. Okay, so our total monthly payment is $3,937.24. That's what we have here. And then $145,468.71 is our total interest. And the total cost of the loan is $472,468.71. So our math is good. All right, so I'm going to scroll back up here and move me around a little bit so I can do it the easier way. And I'm going to scroll up to what number we left off on, which was total interest and the loan amount added together gives us a total loan. So now we're on step number 7. Nadia wants to compare monthly payments, total interest, and total cost for interest rates that vary from 7.725% to 8.075%. She's already entered the formulas to insert the monthly payment in cell D11. So D11 already has the formula in here. So, whoops. She already has the formulas in here, so we're good to go. The total interest in E11 is already in here. And then F11, we have everything else, okay, our total cost. So based on the range C11 to F26, we're creating a one variable data table that uses the rate in cell D6 as the column input. D6 is here. That's our interest rate. To create this data table, okay? So that's going to be our input cell, and then we're going to use the comparison. So if you remember, back when we were working on this in chapter 4 or module 4, we're going to set up our data table. So we're going to need to select the area where we want our data table. We need to include the rate because that's where the rate's going to compare it to in our rate here. And then we need to include this top row because it has our basic information based on 7.825. Okay, so you'll remember that. That was on page 19. That's one of the things I did not go back and do, which I'll go back and show you in just a minute. So this is going to be on page 19, right here. Page 19 of our assignment, or of our book. Okay, so we're going to go to data. Let me make the screen bigger so you can see everything. Once we click on data, then we have our what if analysis way over here. We'll click on our data table. And it's going to ask where our data is from. Now remember, our data, our interest rate is 7.825 right here. So is that a row or a column? It's going to be our column because we have all the columns here. So that's what we're going to do. And I accidentally clicked on something, so let me delete that out. And we're going to put it in our column. And we're going to click on the rate for our input cell and click on it. And then it should give us all of the information. I'm going to minimize back again. And I'm going to cheat and scroll down and look and see if my data is correct. So the last number in our series in F26 should be $477,645.99, and that's what I have here is $477,645.99. So I did the assignment correctly. So we'll go back up here. To step number 8 or 7 is where we were at. Now we finished step number 8, so now we're going to go to step number 9. It says in cell D6 includes the rate a bank quoted for Nadia in the business loan. So this is the rate they gave us. And they want us to create a conditional formatting to highlight the sales rule. And again, that's on page 19, I believe, in our book. I'm sorry, it's on page 34 in our book. I'm going to put here, page 34. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing this for you. 34. So we're going to do the highlight cells rules. So we're going to highlight the cells that we want. And then we're going to go to our home button and conditional formatting, but I'm going to make it bigger so you can see what it'll look like on your screen. Conditional formatting is right here. And we're going to do highlight cell rules, and we want it equal to that cell that has the rate. So we're going to click on this cell here, and that's where we want our cell equal to. Now, they threw a little trick in here in number 8, and it wants us to make it fill green with dark green text. So we're not going to use the default. We're going to go down here, green fill with dark green text. And then click OK, and then that puts that information in there. Okay, now you see my dog leaving. Bye, Lexi. Okay, so now we've done that. So let's go back into our assignment on the next step, and that's step number 9. Now, step number 9 is located on page 24 if you need help. But we're going to go ahead and work on it together. Now, if you remember, when we were creating our amortization schedule, we had to create an if function that if something was less than 0, it would not show the payment in a negative number. So according to this, Nadia has set up the structure for an amortization schedule in which the range H4 to L15, for the range H4 to L15. So she wants us to finish the amortization schedule by completing the formula in J5. She's already put the if function in there that checks whether the year in column H is less than or equal to the term in D7. So we don't end up with the negative payments. So it says between the commas in the formula in J5, enter another formula using the present value function. Use the defined names for the rate, the net term, and the payment or net payment, and the payment arguments as follows. So the rate argument is divide the rate by 12. The net payment is going to be subtract the year, H5 from the term, and then multiply the result by 12 to specify the number of payments remaining to pay off the loan. And then the payment argument is the monthly payments is a negative value to specify the payment amount period. So it looks like a lot of information, a lot of difficulty, but it is not. Don't overwhelm yourself with all of this. So I'm going to scroll this over a little bit so we can see the information where we're going to put our formulas at. And it says in cell D7 in J5. In J5 is where we're going to start. So J5 is where we're going to put our formula. Now she's already created our if formula for us. So we're actually going to put in between these two commas, right here is where we're going to type in our information. So in between those two commas is where we're going to put our information. I put the spaces just so it makes it a lot easier for us to see. You do not need to put the spaces, just put your insertion point between the two commas, okay? So the very first thing we need to do is we need to put our formula or our function. So we're going to use present value. That's what is one is to use a formula using the present value function, okay, which is right here, present value function. And then it's given us this information. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to put PV, so our present value function. Click it, and now it's put in parentheses, and now it's given us our formula layout. So we have our rate, so we're going to type in rate. That's what we named our cell. And then times 12. No, divided by 12, I'm sorry. Divide the rate by 12. And then we're going to put in a comma. And then now we have the net payment. And this one is the term. Right here, subtract the year value in H5 from the term. So we're going to put this in parentheses. So I'm going to put a parentheses, and then I'm going to take the term, which I'm going to just type it in. Parentheses, term. And it's going to highlight the term, which is a year for this particular one, minus H5 then close parentheses, and now we're going to multiply that all by 12, because remember there's 12 payments. Sorry, my fingers aren't typing the right keys here, times 12. And then we're going to do our last function, so that's the net payment. Now we're going to look at the payment amount itself, the net term. Then we're going to look at the payment itself. So now the last piece that's bold is the payment. And the payment, again, it tells us to use a negative sign. So use the monthly payment as a negative value to specify the payment amount per period. So up here, we're going to put minus our negative sign, and then monthly payment. Okay, and then we're going to close parentheses, our formula for present value, and I'm going to get rid of the spaces that you shouldn't have in there anyway. And then that's the last part of our if statement. Okay, and hit enter. And then you should have $304,546.95 at the end of the first year. I'm going to go down here and look. And that's what we have at the end of the first year, $304,546.95. Okay. So now we're going to go back to our instructions, and we're going to be on page 10, step 10. Fill the range J16 to J14 with the formula in J5 to complete the amortization schedule. So I'm going to scroll over again so we have everything on our screen that we need. And then we're just going to go back up here to the cell J6 or J5, and we're going to autofill all the way down to J14. And it's going to put in our information, and if you notice, the chart automatically changes. Okay, and we have our data. Again, if you want to scroll down to look, you can. And here are our payments. So our 9th year should be $45,303 is our ending balance, and we have $45,303 and change. Okay. Now we're going to be on step 11. So the math is pretty much done. We're almost finished. We have one more thing to do with the math, but step 11 takes us out of the math for a little bit. And step 11 says the line chart in range H16 to L33 compares the amount of principal and interest paid each year to the loan. Nadia wants to make the chart more prominent on the worksheet and easier to interpret. So she wants us to add a border to the chart using lavender accent 1, shape outline color, and 1.5 points weight. Then it wants us to add a data default table with legend keys to the chart to show the principal and interest values for each year. So let's do one step at a time. So let's add a border to the chart using lavender accent 1, shape outline color, and a 1.5 point weight. So that's what we're going to do first. So we're going to click on our chart. Now I'm going to open it and make it bigger, but just remember what we're doing is border, lavender accent 1, shape outline color, and 1.5 point weight. I make it bigger because it's easier for us to see all of the tabs. So we're going to go to chart design because that's what we're doing. And we're formatting. We're formatting a shape outline. So it says to use lavender shape outline color and 1.5 point weight. So I believe there's one that's already pre-formatted, colored outline, lavender accent 1. I'm going to click on that, and that puts the outline around it, but we want to make it a 1.5 point weight. So we're going to go to our shape outline, and we're going to choose our weights. Let's see if we already have color outline 1, accent 1. Now we're going to do the weight, and we're going to change it to 1.5 points. Okay. I'm going to click off of it, and you see that we have the outline around it. Make sure that that's outlined correctly. So we're going to go back to our assignment. Let's go down, and if you notice, ours is wrong. Okay, we outlined the chart data, but not the actual chart. So we're going to undo, and we're going to click on the chart outline here, and then we're going to go back and format lavender accent 1, which is this one, and then we're going to go to shape outline again and change our weight to 1.5 points. Okay, click off of it, and now it's the correct way. We'll go back here and check. Okay, now we have our lavender accent 1 outline. Now what we're going to do is the next step, and that's going to add this legend. So I'm going to scroll back up to the instructions. It says add the default data table with legend keys to the chart to show the principal and interest. So I'm going to click on the chart again, and then we're going to go to the design this time, and we're going to add a chart element, and it adds a legend. So we're going to go down to legends, and then it wants us to choose, excuse me, make sure I have that right. Chart design, chart element, oh, data table, not legends, because we're putting a table in. Data table, and then we're going to do with legend keys. Okay, so let me refresh our memory here. I'm going to undo it so I can do it again for you. We're going to select our table or our chart. We're going to click on chart design, add chart element, data table, and with legend keys, and that adds the legend keys. So let's go back to the assignment, add default data table So it says data table, not legend, my bad. Data table with legend keys to the chart to show the principal and interest values for each year. So that's what we did. I'm going to scroll down to the instructions down here, or to our answer key, and there they are. So ours looks the same as the answer key. All right, almost done. Nadia was planning to list cost estimates for hardware and software purchases on the cost estimates worksheet, but has decided not to. Delete the cost estimate worksheet. Okay, easy to do. We're going to click on the cost estimates worksheet to select it. Then we're going to right click it, and then we're going to delete it. And it's gone. So we just did that step. Go back to Word. Go to the retirement projections, and that's just exactly where we're on right now, worksheet, which compares the details for the 3 retirement plans Nadia is evaluating for the law firm. The options show the amount the firm would contribute to an employee's retirement plan per month for 10 years and the monthly rate of return. Nadia wants to determine the future value of investments for each plan. So in cell C10, insert a formula with the future value function that uses the monthly rate of return in cell C6, the number of payments in C8, and the monthly payments in C7 to calculate the future value of payment 1. Okay? So we're going to use the formula, and it'll be real simple to put in. So we're going to put that in cell C10. So I'm going to click on cell C10. Actually, I'm going to minimize my Excel sheet again so I can keep my instructions up. So in cell C10, I'm going to put right here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the equal sign. And then I'm going to put future value, FV, future value. I'm going to double click it, and it's going to give me my steps, the rate, the net per, and the payment. Okay, so that's what we're going to put in. So what is our monthly rate of return? Number of payments is C6. So we're going to click on C6. Then we're going to put the comma. And now it takes us to our net PER. So our net PER is going to be C7. I'm sorry, C8, the number of payments. So that's C8. Then we'll put our comma. And then the last step is the monthly payment, which is C7. We'll click on C7. Now the most common mistake is people put C6, C7, C8, and it's not. C6, the number of payments is C8, and then the actual monthly payment is C7. Okay. So we're going to put the close parentheses to finish out our formula, and we'll hit enter. And the future value for payment plan 1 is $34,616.96. Then the second part of step 13 says use the fill handle to fill the range D10 to E10 with the formula in C10. So we're going to click on C10, and we're going to use our fill handle and drag it over, and it's going to put those in. So now we're going to scroll down to the other worksheet in our workbook and check our answers. $34,616.96, $42,680.97, and $30,710.17. So that is all correct. So I'm going to go back up and look at my instructions. We finished instruction number 13. And I'm going to look. Your workbook should look like the final figures in the following pages. We have already checked that. And then the next thing says save your changes. So I'm going to click on my save button. Then close the workbook and then exit Excel. Follow the directions on the SAM website to submit your completed project. So I'm done with the instructions, so I'm going to close that out. And I'm actually finished with this, so I'm going to close it. Now I'm going to click the continue button because I've already downloaded the instructions, followed the instructions, downloaded the file, changed the name of it, and finished that. So now I'm going to click on here to open the file that I just finished, and it should be named this because remember we changed the 1 to a 2. So mine is supposed to be in my OneDrive. Mine will not be in my OneDrive because I'm not on my school OneDrive here. So I'll have to find that real quick. So I'm going to move it over here out of the way, and then I'll find it, and then I'll come back to that step. But once you find that, then you'll drag it here. Should match that, and then you're going to click on Submit. Okay? So at this point, you can stop the video if you want, or you can wait until I find that file, and then you can follow along with me. But it may take me a minute because I've got to find the actual OneDrive file, and I'm not logged into one of my OneDrive files right now. Let me see if it's under Recent. Nope, it is not. So it's going to take me a while to do that. If you need further instructions, please email me, and I'll be happy to help you with the last part of the uploading it. But you should already know how to do this because this is the same thing we've done before. So have a wonderful day. I hope this helped you with the exam, or not exam, but the end of module project 1 out of Excel module 4. Have a wonderful day.